right.
All right.
Get a drink of water.
Okay. Clear?
I think so.
Okay.
Hi everyone, this is Travis with Thrive Fitness back for our question and answer session, episode number 47 with Jerry. How are you?
Pretty great.
Okay.
It's hot in the seat.
Well, rightly so.
Not that kind of hot.
All right.
The sun. This thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day outside.
Our curtain makes it
we
better.
We gotta fix that. I'm coming up with something. I have a plan. Okay. All right. So we have plenty of questions this week. A lot of our viewers and clients gave us questions, so we're glad to hear that. So we'll get through about 3 of them. But I'd like to open up the session with this question. If you were being sent to a deserted island for 30 days alone, and were allowed to take one thing, what would it be?
My goodness. Well, did somebody ask that question, or did you come up with that one? You just started with it? Because you always start with some arbitrary question that you just think of.
Yeah.
Arbitrary.
So people can get to know you better.
I don't.
And you're not allowed to say bacon.
One thing.
One thing.
One thing.
You're only there for 30 days. What one thing would you take?
Probably some sort of stick to kill animals with.
A stick?
Because I can't think of one book that I would take, because I don't care about my phone, I don't care about TV, I don't care about any other type of electronics. I'd like to have a book, but I couldn't think of one book that I can probably find something that would take me a long time to read.
Okay.
But other than that, I can't think of any book that I'd like to just have for a long time and continue to read a lot. Hey, Brett!
So you would...
But I would say something to kill animals with. But then you could just find that on the island. So I don't know. I don't have a. You don't think so? That'd be my best answer.
Would you be willing to take that chance?
No.
Yeah, I said. Well.
No, that's my best answer.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Hey, where's mine?
Passing them out.
All right, a stick. Nice.
What's yours? Don't roll your eyes.
I would take. At first, I said a knife because there's a lot of things that you can do.
That's much better.
Well, wait a minute now. So there's a lot of different things you can do with a knife. You can protect yourself, number one. You can kill something that's trying to get you, or potentially at least fight them off.
Yeah.
Number two. But then I added something to that one, and then
You can't add something. You take one thing.
Wait a minute. I grew it out, and then you can use a knife to carve a weapon.
Yeah.
So anyway, I decided though that I would need, if there were snakes, I would need that knife to be on a very long stick. So now I'm thinking maybe a hoe might be a better choice.
How about a samurai sword? How would that be?
Or a gun.
Yeah.
But
a gun's not going to carve you anything.
No, but I thought a knife, because then you could kill your food.
Yeah.
You could skin it. You could.
That's good. That's better than my stick.
Okay.
Because then you can carve your own stick or whatever you have to do.
All right.
We're pretty simpletons around here, it seems like.
Right. So anyway, I don't know. I was watching one of those Survivor shows.
And that was...
When I went home last night, Jerry had it on, and I was like, wow, what is the one thing that I would have to have?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I came up with. That's where the question came from. So good.
That's good. I'm glad to see you're being... you're thinking of something that's going to be useful to you and not something that's going to lead to immediate happiness.
Thank you. Okay. All right. On with the real questions now. Our first question is from Angie Ramsey, and she is asking, thank you, Angie, for sending it in. What are some good cardio exercises for people with bad knees, and what are good recovery foods and drinks after a long run?
Angie, good question. So, good cardio exercises with people with bad knees. So, my answer to cardio is not always. Most people think of cardio as running, treadmill, elliptical, bike, something along those lines, right? All of them can cause pain in your knees to some extent, depending on where your knee pain is coming from and why it's there. So with that being said, a great option for cardio is always doing metabolic resistance training. So grouping exercises together in a timed interval fashion so that you are getting your heart rate up and down. Cardio doesn't have to be this long drawn out thing. Okay, it doesn't have to be steady state, constant running or constant pedaling or constant ellipticaling. Whatever that is.
He just made up a word.
So, with metabolic resistance training, even if you just use body weight. So if squats bother your knees, that's fine. You can stay away from squats. So you can do hip bridges lying on your back. You can flip over to your stomach, do push-ups, stand up. And if we're trying to find something that stays away from your knees, split squats sometimes help stay away from your knees. So basically grouping exercises together, doing each one for 30 seconds, resting for 60 seconds, and then repeating that. Start with 4 times and then add 1 time each week until you get to 8, and then change up your routine. So that's always a great option. If you're looking for something that is more original in cardio, I guess, then recumbent bikes seem to be something that don't bother people's knees a lot. Regular bikes can bother your knees, especially if you keep the seat low. It bothered your knee whenever we went on the bike ride. So if you're on a bike, make sure the seat's high enough so that your knee's not coming up above your hips or even close to your hips. A recumbent bike, like I said, seems to be a good option. The same thing if you're doing something like that. The problem with running on a treadmill or going out and running on the street for a long period of time at a steady state is that the impact forces for each stride that you take are very high because it just takes a long time for your body to connect and then drive forward again. So running sprints is always a better option, but that scares a lot of people. So if you're on a bike or an elliptical or something, doing sprint type of, again, interval type of exercise is a great option. So 30 seconds on the bike or 30 seconds on the elliptical at a sprint with 60 seconds of rest, and then just repeat that 4 times. And you've gone from a 30-minute or 60-minute steady state workout to a 10-minute or 15-minute interval workout. And it's going to burn just as many calories during the time and a lot more calories after. So that's another thing that people don't appreciate is the calories that you burn after your workout. Whenever you do something steady state, once you're finished, and your body doesn't really have to recuperate a whole lot. Doesn't have to burn a whole lot of calories afterwards to recover. Whenever you do interval training, it's much tougher on your metabolism, so you have to, your body has to burn a lot more calories those couple hours, depending on what type of interval training you're doing. It's going to burn a lot more calories afterwards. So that's that. What was the second question?
What are good recovery foods and drinks after a long run?
It depends on your goal. Now, so a lot of people's goals lose weight, so you want to have carbohydrates some point after your workout. It doesn't have to be immediately after, and I wouldn't even say to do it immediately after. Some sort of high quality protein, a high quality fat, so that can be some sort of nut or some sort of, if you like
trail mix.
Trail mix, something like that. Even like avocado, eggs, any kind of healthy fat, healthy protein, and then you can throw any kind of veggie in there that you like if you want a whole food. Something simple. People always talk about protein shakes. Those are fine. Understand protein shakes aren't anything special. It's just a protein shake. It's simply a meal replacement is all it is. Not anything special. So, but if you're looking for convenience, a protein shake is a good option. So again, if your goal is weight loss, then save the carbohydrates for later. You want to have them at some point because for your next run or workout or wherever you want to do, you do want to have some glycogen stores stored back up. So you want to have them at some point later in the day, but it doesn't have to be immediately after. And then If your goal is just performance or just general fitness, then you can have your carbohydrates after your workout, and that can be fruit. Typically, fruit is your best option there. So if you have a protein shake, have a handful of berries, or
small apple,
a small apple or banana, whatever kind of fruit you want to have.
Right.
It's not a gigantic deal, but not too much. You want to make sure that you're keeping it within that cup-ish range. Okay, so that's a good question.
What about drinks?
What about drinks?
Yeah, water, sports drinks.
Yeah, so water is always the go-to, and so what sports drinks do? Sports drinks are great because they have electrolytes. Okay. And your body does need them, especially if you're not getting them through fruits, veggies. Well, not many veggies, I guess, have electrolytes, but many fruits have electrolytes, and then other types of foods. So electrolytes are important. However, with sugar, and it's not, regardless of the weight, regardless of worrying about what it does to your weight, what sugar does do is it's a diuretic, so it pulls the water out of your system. So instead of actually hydrating you, it actually makes you more thirsty. If you ever notice when you drink a Gatorade, you want to drink it all. It's not only because your brain's going, well, I love the sugar, it's also because it's making you more thirsty because the sugar's pulling water out of you. So water's always, around your workout, water's always your best option.
Yeah.
What do you think about the water?
Well, I think that just from my experience,
the post-workout meal.
Well, just working with 2 runners recently, the one talked about being a heavy sweater when she runs in the summertime. To the point that her headband will be white because she sweats so bad and she loses so much sodium. So she was struggling with the fact that she was feeling very fatigued and tired. Well, that's the same thing. Dizzy, nauseous to her stomach. So there is this phenomenon, especially it's more common in women, that if you are one of these heavy sweaters or salt losers, then it is best that you, at the end of a long run, replace back with some kind of electrolyte. Now, you could make your own water with a little sea salt in it.
Yeah, and we have Smart Water here.
Right.
And Smart Water is just water with electrolytes in it.
Right, so you need to get that. That will help you recover. I had never much thought about that. I always said just go with plain water. You don't need all the calories and all the sugar that comes in Gatorade and all these sports drinks. But that definitely made a difference in the way she felt. Yeah. And once we figured that out, then she felt a lot better. At the end of her run.
Good.
And then as far as food, as long as you're eating a really balanced diet overall in general, and I don't know what is defining a long run in the question, but they say that your glycogen stores that as long as you're eating a balanced meal and balanced meals, that your glycogen stores can last you for 2 hours. So, a lot of people, there's that thought of carb loading before a big run. I know cross-country teams that eat all that pasta the night before, and they're running 3 miles or whatever. So you have to consider what you do overall.
Relative.
So if you're only running for an hour, you probably are okay. You don't need all that. You don't need to eat before you take off running, as long as you've eaten a balanced meal. And then as far as recovery, carbohydrates are important to get in. They help with your recovery. But you should have a little bit of protein along with that. You don't have to eat a whole chicken breast, but just because there's some thought that protein slows down the carbohydrates getting into your system because it's harder to digest, and your body starts working on that first. So I just think you can have a piece of fruit, like you said, and a half of peanut butter and sandwich or something like that. But if your run's long, which to me and mine is more than a 2-hour run. Anything other than that, just go out and eat a balanced meal when you get done. And it's individual. Some people can't eat right away.
Sure.
Some people want to eat right away. So it's whatever works for you.
Yeah. You think probably a 60-minute window for
Yeah.
optimal
Yeah, just kind of let yourself
absorption or recovery.
Let your system settle down and all that. But
Yeah.
hydration is important.
Yeah.
I would start that right away
Yeah.
after running.
Definitely.
So, all right, good
All right.
question. All right, the next question is from Jessica Krauzik. She recently had to quit training for a while and just recently got released to start back up. And she said within the first week, she's funny. She said, "I feel toned already." She goes, "It must be that muscle memory that." She goes, "Could that be why I feel like, man, this is like working only after a week? I feel so much more toned and like I've lost weight and all of that." So we wanted to ask you about muscle
memory. Yeah.
And is there such a thing? And what's that all about?
So obviously that's a term that's been used for a really, really, really long time, right? I mean, forever people have used that, and even like strength coaches, personal trainers. I mean, people who are knowledgeable about have used the term. I've used the term. I think it's a good analogous term, but it's not muscle memory. It's not your muscle, it's your nervous system, number one.
Okay.
It's your nervous system that whenever you go back into something that you have done before, your nervous system, or the myelination of your nerves, myelin sheath is something that goes over your nervous system. Whenever you perform something, or you think something, or you do something repetitively. So if I do a squat, a bunch of squats, and I'm trying to get my form down, the more I do them, the more that pathway is layered with myelin, and the more efficient that I am at it. So if I go away from it for 6 months and then come back, I can get it a lot quicker than if I was just beginning. Does that make sense? So whenever you go back to something and you feel like I'm not going to talk about hers yet, because hers is different.
Okay.
When you go back to something and you feel like you can get it a lot quicker, that's what it is. Your nervous system that is understanding that you're going back to this, whatever this is, the movement or the exercise or the reading or the thought, whatever it is. Now, with being able to get back into muscular shape where you're feeling toned quicker than you were before, so there's this phenomenon in your body where in the beginning it's hard to get to where you want to go. You make progress pretty quick, but it's hard to get really hard, long-lasting progress. Okay? It takes time to do that, right? You can't just do something you can't exercise for 3 months and then it's gonna be there. And I don't want to say like if you stop, it's gonna be there indefinitely, because even if you do it for 3 years and you stop, but if you do it for 3 years, it's gonna be there a lot longer, right?
Okay.
And then, so if you do something for an amount of time that is a pretty significant amount of time, a year plus, 9 months plus, whatever it is, and you get to a point, and then you stop, and then you start back, and you start going towards that point again, your body has been there, so it knows those adaptations are there already. I don't really know how else to explain it other than your body has adapted before, so it can adapt more effectively again.
Okay.
Does that make sense? So it's not the same exact thing as the myelin and the nervous system understanding, but it's not much different.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think I can.
That was a very drawn out answer. But
I can kind of see, because I'm thinking as you're talking about this, I'm thinking about habits, because they talk about if you can get a habit in place and keep it for 6 months, your chance of success of doing that forever or holding on to it forever is better.
Yes.
So there's like a window of time that your body, I guess in your mind or your body or whatever, it can go right back to that because it's ingrained or imprinted in there somehow.
And it's literally the exact same thing as doing 1,000 squats or doing a habit 1,000 times to make sure that it's ingrained. It's the same thing. Like you do a habit 1,000 times and then you go away from it, it's easier to go back to it. Right. If you do a habit 2 times and you go away from it, you're going to go back and you might do it 2 more times and then quit again. Right. So it's the exact same. I mean, it is. It's
kind
of
the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, that's a good question, and And you know, a lot of people are baffled about that kind of thing. You go back to doing something and you're like, man, this was a lot easier this time. It's like, you wonder why, but yeah, the first time around, your body has to adapt. Once your body has adapted, your body's a pretty awesome thing. So it understands it can get there more.
Maybe because they talk about pruning the path, like
something like that.
That then the path is clear and it's not. It's
the elephant and the rider.
Yeah. So that's good. It was funny when she asked me that. She came to my desk and asked me that, and right away I go, "Oh, it's not muscle memory. You're supposed to write a post about that because that's."
I was supposed to.
Yes, because when that came up in the past, I don't know if it was something that we said here in the gym one night, talk training. But I'd always heard about muscle memory, and I thought that it truly
was a real
existed.
thing.
And you said, no, it's not that. I need to write a post on that. And I don't think you ever did.
Well, and I'm taking it very technically. So if you took your bones away, your nervous system away, your brain away, and all you had was muscles, it would just be a pile of muscles. Like it wouldn't be anything. So that's why it's like, that's why I say it like, I'm taking it very like down to the
okay, that's good.
Anatomical level.
That's good. But anyway, so I'm glad you finally answered that.
Yeah.
So that's good.
But
good question,
Jessica. That is a good question.
Okay, and our last question is from Hillary. Is there any food or supplement you recommend to boost metabolism?
Protein. And caffeine. To an extent.
I was going to say. I was going to go.
To an extent. There's a point of diminishing returns with everything. So, protein and caffeine. Protein because it's harder for your body. Your body has to work harder in order to digest it and break it down. So, because it's working harder, it's burning more calories as you're eating it. Yeah, that's hard to appreciate, your body burning calories as you're eating food, but it does happen. Your body has to burn more calories when it eats protein, so it's therefore increasing your metabolism. And caffeine is, well, everyone knows what caffeine does to you, so.
A little bit, yeah.
But again, there's a point of diminishing returns. Once you get too much of it in it, then it affects your cortisol too much, and then
it works against you.
Yeah, then you're going.
So what do you think caffeine-wise? A couple of cups of coffee a day, or? It
depends on who you are, and I know you know about this. If you're a slow metabolizer of caffeine, then it's going to be like 1 cup a day, if that. My dad metabolizes caffeine very slow, and he drinks like half a cup a day, and sometimes that gets him like jittery and wired up. I can have like 3, 4, 5 cups, and it typically doesn't do a lot to me. So it just depends on who you are. I'm not saying that 5 cups is a good thing for me to have, and I'm just saying I can, but no, I'm saying I think even if you're a fast metabolizer and it doesn't do much to you, 2 or 3 max is probably a good.
Well, because you're not going to feel the effect, the cortisol effect. You're not even probably conscious of that happening when you're drinking all that caffeine. And that goes not just with coffee. It can anything that's
caffeinated.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
What do you think? Do you have anything to add to it?
Yeah. First of all, you need to have some things already in place in your nutrition. Number 1, you have got to be eating enough food. First of all, because if you're not eating enough for all of the activity that you are doing, you can slow your metabolism down. Your body knows feast or famine. That's the only 2 things it knows, and if you're not feeding it enough, it is, a great machine looking for homeostasis. It's going to ratchet everything down. It's going to slow your metabolism down, and then you're, fighting a losing battle. So make sure that you're eating enough food, because that's something that women tend to do when they are wanting to boost their metabolism and lose some weight. Is they just, don't eat enough.
Eat less, yeah.
So, and then the other thing that, along with the protein, that would be definitely my other recommendation, protein with every meal. And then something that a lot of people don't give enough credit to is fiber in your diet.
Yeah.
So, especially women, when you're looking to drop fat and lose some weight, you need to make sure that you're taking in enough fiber, because it's going to help you in a number of ways. It's going to help make you feel full longer. It helps keep you regular, or not gummed up, as Jared puts it.
Gummed up.
And yeah, and it helps fight fat. So make sure that you're getting about at least 25 grams of fiber in your diet. And you can do that through eating more vegetables. So it's kind of funny how things work. If you up your fiber, what do you naturally, and you up your fiber and you eating protein at every meal, what are you naturally going to eat less of? Mm-hmm.
Sugar.
Mm-hmm. And starchy carbohydrates.
Starchy carbs.
Right. So there you go.
Yeah. And you'll want to eat less of other things anyway, because protein satiates
yeah.
you more.
Mm-hmm. And don't forget, fat is not your enemy. We all need, healthy fat in our diets every day. So
yeah,
you got to get those things down right, and then worry about the little tricks.
Yep. They
try to say boost your metabolism. There are some foods. Don't get me wrong. Peppers have capsaicin in them, and that's supposed to increase your metabolism. And,
right. Spicy
spices.
Foods. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Different spices and stuff. So, but just make sure that you're eating enough food, and that you're eating protein with every one of your meals, and that you're getting enough fiber in your diet every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good answer.
All right.
Good question.
Good question, Hillary. All right. That's it. Good job.
Nice work.
Thanks for all the questions. If you have any more you'd like to send in, you can send them to Trivas@thriveforstrength.com or at the Thrive Pack. And have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next week. How was that?
That's good.